simply your mind, your will and emotion. That's reason it's so hard for smart folk to let the Lord have his way. See, as long as you got some sense, God can't hardly help you. He can't hardly help you because you got too much sense. I got Bible on it. Paul says in 1 Corinthians, he says, look you among you, see your calling, how that not many wise, not many noble are called. God have chosen the foolish things. Oh, you know that when God really calls somebody, everybody go to scratching their heads. Why in the world would he call that crackhead? Why in the world? Well, he got weak enough for God to use him. Because as long as you're strong, you in your own strength. Well, I'm going to take my subject now, even before I read it. Look at your neighbor. No, you don't. Don't look at your neighbor. Just say it. Them that can say, help me. Because I can't help myself. I looked back in the back room for a white sheet. Y'all didn't have no white sheet. I'd have used it for an illustration. When in a war that you see you can't win, they throw up the white flag. You see, God ain't looking for nobody to get strong. You want to come to revival and you want to get strong. I'm praying, I'm fasting. I'm reading 20, 30 chapters a day and all of this right here, and I'm really serving God, and I don't go where I used to go. I don't want, no. God is looking for somebody that will pull out the white flag and say, God, I can't. I've tried, but this thing here done got me. God, I don't care if it's a child that you done tried to give it to him, but it keep coming up. I don't care if it's your appetite. The appetite of a man will not only embarrass him, it will prove fatal if he don't do nothing about it. I looked on the website yesterday and I saw the man from Helena, Arkansas, his appetite. When they put a release date on there, which that don't mean the day you're going to get out of prison, but they put a date on there, his release date is 2061. And the only thing, I'm so glad I don't owe nobody nothing but God, because I can preach this thing like he give it to me and I feel it down in my soul. The only thing, y'all, we want to look at him and say he's a bad man, but what will you do to satisfy your appetite? Mm-hmm. All of us that's overweight is because of our appetite. Ain't nobody. I know you want to say, I'm big boned. I be telling folks all the time, I don't got big, I don't look like I don't eat nothing. But it ain't the fact that but when I do eat and what I eat. And the reason I eat it, Brother Armstrong, they want to say, well, you need salads. I don't like no salads. Salad don't do nothing for me. Salad's for rabbits and things. I want something, man. I want something with some grease on it. I want something got some flavor in it. I want something that make me go get some seconds. They said she put her foot in it. I don't know what that means. I sure don't want to eat nothing nobody put their foot in, but I know what they're talking about. It's my appetite. The reason, Mother, I do what I do is because I got an appetite for it. Now, I tried my best to deny it, but I got an appetite for it. What is a thorn in the flesh? We talked about that last week, Sheriff. It's just my inability. I ain't no child. I can't sit up and talk about I don't know what's right. I didn't have to come to church for y'all to tell me what's right. I've been knowing what's right. But now we live in a society now where if you talk about what's right, people are looking at you like you're crazy. Yeah. It used to be a shame when folks talking about something, you've gone get married. No, y'all gonna be doing all that. Y'all need to go on get married and everything. It's a new day now. Folks doing what they want to, when they want to, how they want to do it, and whatever. I ain't talking about outside the church. I'm talking about right in the church. It's just because I got an appetite for it. I got an appetite. Ain't nobody never had to hide no men or no little children from me, thank God. Because I thank God Tyrone ain't got no appetite for that. But that other thing, oh, y'all don't like the truth. Huh? Paul said, when I said, I know it ain't nothing right about that. Thank you, Jesus. Now I come to find out, man, that not only that thing was in me, it was in my daddy and my granddaddy, and what I said, oh, Lord. But you see, we don't tell each other the truth. We cover up. When you think you the only somebody that got the problem, come on, y'all. When you think that you the only somebody that fight with some, if you knew that it was a common problem, you might not be so shamed. And see, the thing about it is, what you can't confront, you can't overcome. We tried to have a men meeting here. The meeting got so fake and everything, we just went on just dismissed it. It did. When we started out, Sheriff, it was good. Men were getting honest. They was talking about how that they felt abandoned because their daddy didn't do for them what he did for other people. I'm in the same family. My dad ain't never gave me nothing but a quarter, came by and everything, acted like I wasn't. And that's why I am like I am today, because I was abandoned by the one that was supposed to protect me. We were making headway. And then began to talk about our indiscretions and how that we tried to fight it, but we had an appetite for something that was hurting other people. But you see, I'm going to tell you something. The devil don't want you free. Look at your neighbor and tell him this. The devil don't want you free. He don't mind you coming to church. He just don't want you free. Because until I get free, when I get free, I'll stop harming and hurting folk. We're like, hey, this ain't about you. This is about what you doing to other people with your appetite. How you have harmed people. It ain't your fault. It ain't your fault. You got an appetite that's out to embarrass you and may even prove fatal. I know a young man that he didn't drink, he didn't smoke, he didn't do none of that. He went to work. He came from a good family. He was a good person, but he had an appetite for that thing. And it ended up taking his life. Because he was over the wrong person's house. Now, the person whose house he was over with, the man was married. And sometimes married men hurt you over their girlfriend more before they will over their wife. And the woman had broke up with the guy, but the guy came by there and he found him there with him and everything, and he stabbed him. He killed that man. I ain't talking about in Los Angeles. I'm talking about right here in Helena, Arkansas. You can have an appetite that not only will embarrass you, it can prove fatal. So Paul here in 2 Corinthians, I know y'all didn't come in for all this today, did you? 12th chapter and the 9th verse. Some of them that left and everything thought they had heard it all, but I want you to know, I gave you what I had at that time, but this thing here finna get gooder and gooder. God ain't through yet. You never will get all. It's just like when the Queen of Sheba went down to Solomon, mother, and she had heard about all his riches and everything. When she got back, she said, baby, the half ain't been told. What my God has in store for me, eyes have not seen, ears have not heard. I always wanted to come to church to get delivered. Amen. The Williams brothers said God will deliver on time. But look at your neighbor and tell him, say, you first got to throw the white flag up. You got to quit. I know that don't go with us because we feel like we're supposed to fight until the end, but you've been fighting and you ain't got nowhere. You've been fighting. You ain't got nowhere. It's some battles you can't win. It's some things that's too much for you. And Paul's thorn was, Paul did not want to accept God, as good as you've been to me, all of the revelations that you've given to me. What are we going to read about it? Look at it. 2 Corinthians 12 and 7. He said, unless I should be exalted above measure You see, God, Mother Nun, God have to keep me at his feet. God have to keep me. The whole time that y'all been here, this 18 years, you ain't never heard me calling now prayer meeting. I ain't gonna call now. I ain't gonna never tell you it's time to pray. God will tell you when it's time. Glory to God. God will tell you when it's time to pray. You know, but how a man gonna tell you now it's time for us to pray? It might be, you know, and usually they call the sheriff when it's time for them to pray. Now everybody got to pray. No, God deal with all of us differently. God deal with all of us differently. And I'm gonna tell you, when God called you to pray, you praying then. But when man called you to pray, you coming out here, that's when y'all got to have all these old long flowery prayers. Oh God of the universe, who touched Solomon and built the temple and all that. No. When God tell you to preach, pray, you don't care. You like that woman with the issue of blood. I don't care what y'all say about me. I don't care what you say about me. I done had this thing for 12 long years. I come in, I don't smell good. I don't look good. I ain't even supposed to be around you. But I heard that there was a man in the city and that he was healing. I heard that Jesus could heal. I heard like blind Bartimaeus that sat by, I'm preaching right now. Blind Bartimaeus was sitting by the roadside and he was crying out. He said, Jesus, thou son of David, have mercy on me. He made the people mad. Don't you know that people get mad at you when you throw up the white flag? Oh, you weak. What's wrong with you? You ain't got that. God, you can do this. You can do that. I've seen people that are on dope and everything, doing everything they can, try to get off the dope. And a preacher tell them what they ain't got to do. You ain't got to go to them meetings. You ain't got to go to rehab. But you know what? Let it be their child. They rent a bus. They do everything. Take them with. Look at, I'm going to do whatever I got. Look at him. When David got ready for Goliath, he had 5 smooth stones. If this first one don't get you, baby, I got 4 more in the bag. Lord, whatever you say about it. When you throw up the flag, you say, I'm through. And you got to get out your mind about what people think about you. You've got to have your eyes single. I've got to have deliverance. Okay, let me tell you something. I did not get off of crack for me. I got off of crack for this boy right here. He was about 8 years old, and his brother that was 5. 8 and 5. You see, I remember we didn't have, my car, I had wrecked it and everything. I had my mama's car. She would let us use that old Cutlass. It was a Cutlass Oldsmobile. And I had Vandal Jr. and Jeremy in my car, little boys. And I parked around the corner from the dope house. And I went in the dope house and I was shooting dope. And the dope house was such that they had cut the water off of it, Marcus Hughes. You see, everybody can't deal with me. I come up out of a nasty hole with nasty people doing nasty things. 2 things I ain't gonna forget. That's where he brought me from and who brought me. You just ain't that important. Ain't you got no shame, baby? It's the Lord's doing, and it's marvelous in my sight. No, baby. Look here. Got S550, LS460, and another car parked, and everything paid for, the house we paid for. I know where he brought me from. And then I'm going to get up here and get sedity with you. Scared of what you gonna think about me, come to church and cross my legs, suck my teeth, look out the side of me. No. But baby, all the days of my life, I'm gonna magnify the God that brought me. Because I want you to know something, Sister Betty Brown. You can smell too bad. You can look too bad. Well, you come to church and the church folk, they'll find another road to sit in. But I want you to know, the God that I serve, brother, he is a pig pen God. He will roll up his sleeves and get down in the pig pen with you. Let me tell you something. I hate to use Mother Nun all the time, but I love her testimony. When her husband, she didn't make him leave, but he decided, you're going to walk off. You're going to leave me and these little children. And then my folks already done said, you ain't gonna never be nothing. You ain't doing this right here. Now the husband done left and look like this gonna come true. But she said she didn't take down. I'm not finna go out here in the streets and try to make a way or nothing like that. God, the same God that my mama told me about. It's time now. I want you to know something. When you sometimes, brother, it's a put up or shut up time. Y'all can keep this little old stuff y'all preaching, this little gospel talking about that. No, 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 no. This appetite I got is for real. Brother, this appetite I got will destroy my life. This appetite. And what makes it so bad, the brother who God bless his soul, he ain't no bad guy. The guy that he ain't gonna get out to 2061. He ain't no bad guy. Come from a good family. and you see, the thing about it is the Bible, first come warnings. Then destruction. And pride. And a haughty spirit. See, sometimes the pride of your family will mess you up. I've been having a Cocaine Anonymous meeting here in Helena ever since 1992. Ever since I came here, we've been having a meeting. And many people don't want their family members to come. They don't want their family members walking up in no place to get, you see what I'm saying, because they shine. But you got to make up your mind, which one do I want to save? Do I want to save face or do I want to save my life? Why do you want to save your life? I want to save my life because I'm tired of hurting my children. I'm tired of hurting I don't want to make my mama cry. I don't want to make my mama cry no more. I don't want to make her cry. My mom and them came down to Fort Benning, Georgia down there. I've been staying there for 3-4 months. I ain't paid no rent, nothing. I'm an officer there. She got to borrow money and pay this stuff off, and they don't throw me out, so I'm coming. She found this crack pipe. She took the crack pipe and she broke it and everything, but she left a stem. I took that stem and went and smoked with it. She don't even know this, but her husband, Edgar Bland, he came to me and tried to appeal to me. He said, Vandal, he said, well, your mama, when she get to worrying about you, when she get to worrying about you, says she started bleeding and she can't stop. That didn't stop me. I kept on smoking. Let me tell you something. If I was going to pity pat and play with y'all, I'd throw this Bible down and go on back and do what I was doing. I must have this thing. I must have your deliverance. God is able, but it ain't going to come through me. It ain't going to come through me. Paul said, out of the abundance of revelations. Let me tell y'all something. When Jesus and the disciples were on the Mount of Transfiguration, when they came down, there was a young man that was there, and the disciples couldn't do nothing with him. And he said, what's going on here? And the father said, look, he brought his children to the disciples. He said, ever since he was a little child, the devil been trying to kill him. So I want you to know something, that the devil ain't just started on you. He won't, and the thing about it is, whenever a thief break in, he look for what's valuable. He ain't breaking in. He ain't breaking in for to get where you ain't nothing there. But you see, at the age of 4 years old, I could type 55 words a minute on a blind typewriter. My mama sitting right here if I'm lying. Underwood blind, wasn't no letters there, nothing like that. Mama said, I don't know how he started reading. We didn't teach him. We gave him a book and he started reading. Look, the devil gave me an appetite. He gave me an appetite where I wanted to be accepted by people. See, everybody got a different appetite. He gave me appetite, Sheriff, where it was more important to me what you thought about me than what was good for me. And until God removed that from me, it meant my failure. Paul says here, he says, out of the abundance of the revelation that was given to me, that was given a thorn in the messenger of Satan to buffet me, lest I should be exalted above measure. You see, Some people can't stand to be blessed until let them get a little something. A little something. And you can't tell them nothing else no more. He says, for this thing I besought the Lord thrice that it might depart from me. In verse 9, he said unto me, my grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Let's go over to Philippians. We almost through. Let's go over to Philippians. Man, I'm preaching better and better. Thank you, Jesus. Philippians. Mm-hmm. Y'all got a steak meal today. Ain't no. Mm-hmm. Go somewhere else and get the dessert. Ain't no dessert here today. Philippians 3rd chapter. Mm-hmm. Look at your neighbor and tell him, say, I don't want my appetite to destroy me. Everybody in here got an appetite for something ain't right. Everybody in here got an appetite for something that's embarrassing. If it ain't nothing but food. If it ain't nothing but food. Y'all, we ain't supposed to look like we looking. If you eat fat and nasty, you're going to look fat and nasty. I don't care. I'm talking to me. Take it like you want to take it. You want somebody, I love you. One thing about it is that woman over there, man, it's just everything. Your mama tell you some things, man, don't make no sense. Your mama tell you some things, man, anybody else said you'd be jumped up and fallen and knocked them out? And then you mess around and get married and everything, you run up on the same thing. Jesus. But Margaret, I be thinking I be matching, I be thinking stuff be looking good. I know folks tell me I can dress a little bit and everything. She just, no. She tell me, she told me I'm colorblind. No, that don't, that don't. Put that on. Just like a little kid, dress me before I come outside. Philippians, the 3rd chapter, Paul says here in verse 3, verse 2, he said, beware of dogs. Beware of evil workers. Beware of the concision. The concision was the Jews, Brother Arthur. They were the ones who believed in the law. They were the ones that believed, Brother Lacey, that you just tell me what to do. Give me my marching orders, and I will march it out. Do you know the person who is the easiest to fool? It's you. Self-deception is so easy. Rationalization and justification. I love Facebook. I learn a whole lot on Facebook. The folks be telling, they writing in comments, girl, ooh, you gorgeous, you beautiful. It don't look like Glorilla, look like a gorilla. Thank you, honey. Girl, you working that. But see, I know how you women are. Y'all telling that to their face and then walk down the street. Who told her to put that on? Lord have mercy. It's easy. It's easy for us to deceive ourselves. I got Bible on it. The book of Jeremiah said, the heart is deceitful above all things. Who shall know it? Your heart will tell you that you don't need no help. Your heart will tell you that I got this thing. Your heart will tell you that you can manage it. It's a preacher right here in town. God had me to come over there and I was preaching. And I listened back at the message. The message was straight to him. But you know, we listen to messages and we know what we say? I sure wish y'all had been here. Do you think God don't know who's supposed to be here? Sheriff, it wasn't but a few years later. If it was a year later, that man went to prison. He in prison now. I don't care. Yeah, why would he say that and everything? You said it. It's in the newspaper. My God. What's the secret? Ain't no secret. I might be able to help you or help me not go. If I don't act like it wasn't, you think it's something bad about him? He was. Proverbs, the 7th chapter, Solomon talks about that woman. That woman. And how they missed their steps. Oh. You think she didn't know that her cleavage was out? You think she didn't know that it was tight across the back? God, they had all that together before they came to you. They've been talking about you. They know what your appetite is. They know what you like. And they jealous of your wife. Because she thinks she got something. We're going to show her. See, you're walking around thinking it's all about you, baby. It's a war going on. The devil ain't going to use my appetite to destroy you. He going to use yours. And let me help you with one other thing here. If you tell a woman something, you might as well put it in the Daily. No, put it in the Gazette, because more people going to hear it than the Daily World. Ain't enough people that read the Daily World. No, you might as well put it on CNN, because it's going nationwide. I used to go places, sheriff and everything, and I thought I was slick, and I'm out here, this right here, I'm way out in California. And then folks said, oh, yeah. I think a car already told me. Said, yeah, you was this. I said, how you know it? She told me. Folks, you don't even know. They know. Using your appetite. And you see, if I can destroy your influence, because God want to use you, but if I can destroy, okay, slander. If I say something about you that's a lie, that's called slander. Now, in order for me to recover, I'm a lawyer, Mr. Armstrong, so I sometimes use those examples. In order for me to recover something, Miss Bette Brown, I have to show where I had an economic loss because of the lie. If I'm a bum and you said it's about me, I wasn't going to get no money no way. So I got to show. But if you tell a lie on me about a sexual thing, you ain't got to prove nothing. That is what they call slander per se. That right there is going to destroy. Let me tell you something. A man can be the greatest man in the community. And we find out that you got indiscretions that draw your whole influence down to nothing. And it's all because of your appetite. But God is an appetite changer. And so Paul is saying here, he said, God, he said, I asked you to remove this thing. Paul said, God said, I'm not going to remove it, but I want you to know something. I got something that's called grace. I'm almost through here. Watch this. Let me see. I'm trying to communicate to you. Up under the law, Brother Armstrong, God had a symbol because the truth hadn't come. Until Jesus showed on the scene, all they could have was symbols. But when he came, they could do away with the symbols because now the truth is here. So he instituted in Genesis the 17th chapter, circumcision. On a man's private is foreskin, and the foreskin has no use. But he has it. And he says, I'm going to circumcise. I'm going to cut off that. Because now it's not beneficial, and if not taken care of, if it's not managed properly, it can cause problems. It can cause disease. It can cause problems. But now Jesus said, we are the circumcision here, which worship God in the spirit. We're not trying, Nisi, to handle this problem ourselves. People that die of drug addiction, people that die of alcoholism, men that finally end up in prison because of their sexual indiscretions. I've seen good men had sex with a little girl. Here you are, you a teacher. You there in the high school with them little girls. Look like you got an appetite. And you need God's help. You need God's help. And you shame. You ever been shamed of something that you wanted? You wanted it, but you tried to keep it on the cover, and you tried to act like you didn't want it. But I want you to know something. Everybody know it already. I don't want to deal with my issues. I'm coming to church. I'm the deacon. I'm the pastor. I'm all this right here. But I won't deal with what's killing me. How many folks got to die before we do something? Before we stop being ashamed to tell the truth. How many folk got to go to prison? How many families got to be broken up before we said this right here is a real problem? Brother Lacey, I tell y'all all the time, any man that ain't got a woman problem, he got another kind of problem. You can hope all you want to. That's what's wrong now. We hoping not. No, surely that ain't. No, that's other people. That's somewhere else. No, it's in your house. It's in your house. But God, the same way that he cut off that foreskin, he cut God's grace. I used to wake up thinking about cocaine. I used to steal. I used to do whatever I had to do in order to get it. Now it's been going on 35 years since God removed that thing. If I got a hold of $20, I had to go try to find it. If I got a hold of $10, I'm going to try to see, will you take this $10? Now I can handle hundreds of thousands of dollars. It don't even enter my mind to go back. No. Why is that? The reason is because the appetite. God moved it. And he said, my strength is made perfect in weakness. I tried my best to stop using that cocaine. I couldn't stop it. I tried, nothing would do it. But then you know what? When I cried out to God and I said, God, help me. My daddy had told me, he said, Vander, he said, God will help you. I didn't know what he was talking about. God will help you. But I had to get, and I know this message that I ain't gonna help if I help one person. Because your mind gonna tell you he talking to somebody else. But I had to get Mother to that place. All right. Where I didn't have no more pride. I didn't have no more arrogance. They're thinking that help somebody else. I got this right here. But I began to realize that if I don't get some help from God, this right here, if it ain't nothing, and I believe that's how my mama got saved. Because now, my mama had a temple. She had a temple. And she found out that this policeman had misused person. And she set out to go get her a gun to kill him. If it's a lie, she told it. I'm going to tell you something. It's some people that when you mess with their children, the Lord got to help them. The Lord got to help them. Because they can't see you right. They can't see you right misusing their child. And my mama liked that about her children, her grandchildren. If you ever want to see another side of Etta Bland, say something about me, Percy, You said something about Byron. You better not say nothing about Byron. He dead. I'm going to tell you something. How serious it is, Lisa. You know, sometimes your brother and sister don't do like you want to do. I went talking about the other sisters and everything like that, and they no, that's my child. She trying on 242. That's as far as she made it, down at the Watson Temple Church of God in Christ. And the pastor took credit for her salvation the rest of his life. He had nothing to do with it. God had set up the whole thing. Before, he had never even preached. They had never even done. She came in the door, Lisa. Now, I don't know. This is her. She said she came in the door. And she told them, she was Methodist. She didn't know about being saved or nothing. She just came in and told them, take me in. She ain't never been the same no more. I'm going to tell you something. All God needs from me is surrender. And sometimes it's hard, Sheriff, to get there. I have wanted to be there, but I just ain't there. But I know that if God ever delivered anybody, he can deliver me too. Your appetite might not be my appetite, but it'll end up doing the same thing. Clap your hands for the Lord.